She thought it was just another shift, another day of serving strangers who'd forget her face before finishing their coffee. But when a billionaire walked into the cafe, pointed at the dusty piano in the corner and mocked, "Play this piano if you want your food," he had no idea he was about to awaken something far greater than pride. He was about to meet the girl who once spoke to the world through music. Elena had been working as a waitress at the fancy Riverside Lounge for more than a year. Her shift started in the early afternoon and went on until late at night. That was when the rich people from the city came in to relax after their work. They would sit at the tables, talk about their big deals, and order drinks and food without thinking about the cost. Elena's job gave her just enough money to pay for her small apartment. It also helped with the bills from her mom's doctor visits and medicines. But the work made her very tired every day. Her feet would hurt a lot from walking back and forth on the hard, shiny floors. She had to carry heavy trays full of plates and glasses. And sometimes she would drop something because her hands were shaking from being so worn out. She often thought about how her life had changed so much. A few years ago, she was in music school, learning to play the piano. She dreamed of being a famous concert pianist, performing in big halls with bright lights and people clapping for her. But then her mom got sick. It was a bad illness that needed a lot of care and money. Elena had no choice but to leave school and start working full-time. She put her music books and sheets away in a drawer in her room. Now they just sat there getting dusty. She missed the feel of the piano keys under her fingers. As a kid, she had practiced for hours every day. Her teacher said she was very talented. She even won some small awards in local contests. But now all that seemed like a faraway dream. Life was about surviving, not dreaming. The Riverside Lounge was a nice place. It had soft lights, comfortable chairs, and walls painted in calm colors. There was a big grand piano in one corner. It came from the time when the lounge was a jazz club many years ago. Now the piano mostly stayed quiet. Sometimes a customer would sit down and play a few notes for fun. But Elena never went near it. She did not want anyone to notice her or ask questions. Her job was to serve food and drinks, smile at the customers, and stay in the background. She wore a simple black uniform every day, just like the other waitresses. It made her feel like she was not important, like she was invisible. The rich people laughed and talked, but they hardly looked at her face. They just wanted their orders fast. Elena lived in a tiny apartment on the edge of the city. It had one bedroom, a small kitchen, and a living room that was also her dining area. The walls were thin, so she could hear her neighbors arguing or watching TV late at night. She shared the place with her mom, who spent most days in bed or at the hospital. Elena would wake up early, make breakfast for both of them, and then rush to work. On her days off, she cleaned the house, did the laundry, and cooked simple meals like soup or pasta. Money was always tight. She had to count every dollar. Sometimes she skipped buying new clothes for herself so she could afford her mom's pills. It made her feel sad and worried all the time. She wondered if things would ever get better. At work, Elena tried to stay positive. She had a few friends among the other waitresses. There was Sarah, who was older and always gave good advice. Sarah had been at the lounge for 5 years. She knew how to handle rude customers without getting upset. Then there was Mike, the cook in the kitchen. He made jokes to make everyone laugh during busy times. But even with them, Elena felt alone. She did not talk much about her past or her music. She was afraid they might think she was dreaming too big or feel sorry for her, so she kept her thoughts inside. During breaks, she would sit in the back room, drink some water, and think about her mom. Her mom was her everything. She had raised Elena alone after her dad left when she was little. Her mom worked 2 jobs back then to pay for piano lessons. Now it was Elena's turn to take care. One evening, the lounge was very busy. It was dinner time and people were coming in groups. The air smelled like steak and wine. Elena moved quickly from table to table, writing down orders and smiling. Her notepad was full of notes like extra sauce or no onions. She was good at remembering things, so she rarely made mistakes. But that night something felt different. A group of men in nice suits walked in. They looked important, like they owned big companies. The leader was Marcus Hale. He was a billionaire who made a lot of money from tech stuff. Elena had seen his picture in magazines at the store. He had a sharp face, short hair, and a way of walking that said he was in charge. His eyes were cold, like he did not care about anyone else. Marcus and his friends picked the biggest table in the middle of the room. It had a good view of the whole lounge. They sat down and started talking loud about their business deals and fancy cars. Elena went over to them with her menu. She said hello in a polite voice and asked what they wanted to drink. They ordered expensive wines without even looking at the prices. One of them asked for a bottle that cost more than Elena made in a week. She nodded and wrote it down. As she did, Marcus looked at her. His smile was not friendly. It was like he was thinking of a joke. He said something to his friends and they laughed. Elena felt a little nervous. Her hand shook a bit as she held the notepad. She wondered what they were saying about her. Marcus called her back louder than needed. "Hey, waitress," he said, making sure people at other tables could hear. Elena turned around and walked back. She asked if they needed something else. He leaned back in his chair and pointed to the piano in the corner. "I heard this place has an old rule about that piano," he said with a grin. Something about playing to eat or something. Elena knew what he meant. It was a silly old story from the lounge's past. No one followed it now. It was just a joke the staff sometimes told. She told him it was not real anymore. But Marcus kept talking about it. He laughed loud and his friends joined in. Elena's face got hot. She felt shame rising in her chest. Why was he picking on her? She had not done anything wrong. She thought about all the times she had played piano as a kid. Her fingers would move fast over the keys. She won prizes and made her mom proud. But now here she was, being laughed at by a rich man who did not know her story. It hurt deep inside. She tried to smile and take their food orders. They wanted steaks, salads, and more wine. Marcus kept making small comments like asking if she could hurry because they were important. Each word felt like a poke. Elena went to the kitchen and gave the order to Mike. He saw her face and asked if she was okay. She said yes, but inside she was upset. Why did people like Marcus think they could treat others like that? She remembered her mom's words. "You're stronger than they know, Ellie." But right now, strength felt hard to find. As the night went on, Elena brought out their appetizers. Small plates of cheese and bread. Marcus waved her over again for no good reason. He asked to change something small like more ice in his drink. She did it without complaining. But each time she felt more tired. Her mind kept going back to the piano. Part of her wanted to sit down and play, to show she was not just a waitress, but she pushed the thought away. Showing off could make trouble at work. Her boss liked things quiet. And what if Marcus laughed more? It was better to stay hidden. But the laughter from his table kept echoing in her ears. Elena served other tables too. There was a couple on a date talking softly. An old man eating alone, reading a book. They were nice and said thank you. It made her feel a little better. But Marcus's group was loud. They told stories about their rich lives, trips to far places, and big houses. Elena wondered what it was like to have no worries about money. She thought about her mom in the hospital, waiting for the next treatment. It made her sad. She wanted to help more, but her job was all she had. Later, when she brought their main food, Marcus looked at her again. His eyes had that mean sparkle. He said something about the piano rule once more. His friends chuckled. Elena felt her heart beat faster. The room seemed to get quieter around them. Some people looked over curious. Others seemed uncomfortable. Elena stood there holding the tray. This moment felt big. Standing up might cost her the job she needed. Or it could change things in a good way. She took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Elena put down the tray in the kitchen with a soft clatter. Her hands were still shaking a little from the nerves. Mike, the cook, looked up from flipping steaks on the grill. He wiped his forehead with the back of his arm and gave her a worried look. "You okay, Elena? That group out there seems like trouble. I heard the laughing." She nodded quickly, not wanting to talk about it. "I'm fine. Just rich guys being silly." But inside she was not fine. Marcus's words about the old piano rule kept repeating in her head. It was like he was testing her, seeing if she would break or fight back. She grabbed a cloth and wiped her hands, trying to calm down. The kitchen was hot and noisy, with pots bubbling and orders being called out. It was her safe spot for a moment. Back in the dining room, the lights felt brighter and the voices louder. Marcus's table was still chatting away. She could hear snippets of their talk, about stock prices rising and fancy vacations in Europe. It made her feel small, like her problems were nothing compared to their big lives. She picked up another tray, this time with their main courses: juicy steaks, fresh vegetables, and baked potatoes. As she walked over, she kept her eyes down, hoping they would just eat and leave soon. But when she set the plates down, Marcus leaned forward. His smile was wider now, like a cat playing with a mouse. "Wait a minute," he said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "I wasn't kidding about that piano thing. The sign over there, it's faded, but I can read it. If you can't play, no food. That's the rule, right? So are you going to play for us, or should we send this back?" His friends stopped eating and looked up, grinning. One of them, a man with glasses and a tie, chuckled and said, "Yeah, come on. Entertain us a bit. We're paying good money here." Elena froze, her heart pounding hard in her chest. The rule was just an old joke. The sign was from years ago when the lounge had live music every night. No one took it seriously now, but Marcus was making it real, turning it into a game where she was the toy. She glanced around the room. Some customers were watching, their forks paused in midair. The manager, Mr. Thompson, was at the bar polishing glasses. He caught her eye but did not move. He probably did not want to upset a big spender like Marcus. Elena felt alone in a room full of people. She swallowed hard and tried to speak calmly. "Sir, that's not a real rule anymore. It's just for fun. Can I get you anything else?" But Marcus shook his head, still smiling. No. I think it's time to bring back the tradition. Play something on that piano, or maybe no tip tonight. And hey, if you can't play, no food, for you, I mean." He laughed again and his group joined in. The words hit her like cold water. No food? It was a mean twist on the old saying. She thought about her empty fridge at home, how she sometimes skipped meals to save money for her mom. This man had no idea what real hunger was like. Anger bubbled up inside her, mixed with fear. If she walked away, he might complain to the manager and she could lose her job. But if she played, what then? She had not touched a piano in public for years. Her fingers might forget, or worse, she might make a fool of herself. Elena stepped back from the table, her mind spinning. She remembered a time in music school when she had to perform in front of judges. Her hands were sweaty then too, but she pushed through and won first place. That girl felt so far away now. Sarah, her co-worker, passed by with a tray of drinks. She whispered, "Ignore them, Elena. They're just bored rich folks." Sarah's voice was kind, like a big sister's. It helped a little. Elena nodded and went to check on other tables. The couple on their date smiled at her and said the food was great. The old man with the book left a small tip and thanked her quietly. Those moments reminded her that not everyone was cruel. But the laughter from Marcus's table kept pulling her back. She could feel their eyes on her as she moved around the room. Time passed slowly that night. The lounge got busier with more groups coming in. Elena's feet ached more and her back hurt from carrying trays. But the tension from Marcus did not go away. Every time she passed his table, he would say something. "Still thinking about that piano?" Or "Don't be shy, waitress." It was like he enjoyed seeing her squirm. She wondered why someone so successful needed to pick on a waitress. Maybe it made him feel powerful. At home, her mom always said, "People who hurt others are hurting inside themselves." But that did not make it easier to bear. Elena took a quick break in the restroom. She splashed water on her face and looked in the mirror. Her eyes were tired, with dark circles under them. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. "Just get through the shift." When she came out, the group had finished their mains and were ordering desserts. Chocolate cake, ice cream, and coffee. Elena wrote it down, her pen moving fast. Marcus looked up and said, "Okay, last chance. Play for your supper or whatever that rule is." His voice was teasing, but there was a sharp edge. His friends nodded, one pulling out his phone like he might record it. Elena felt a wave of humiliation. Tears pricked her eyes, but she blinked them away. No way would she cry in front of them. Instead, something inside her shifted. The anger turned into determination. She thought of her mom, lying in that hospital bed, fighting every day. If her mom could be strong, so could she. Elena straightened up and met Marcus's eyes. "Fine," she said softly. "I'll play." The room seemed to hold its breath. Elena walked over to the piano in the corner. Her legs felt heavy like they were made of lead. The instrument was big and black, with keys that shone under the lights. Dust covered the top a little, but the keys looked clean. She sat down on the bench, adjusting her uniform. Her heart raced so fast she could hear it in her ears. What if she messed up? What if they laughed more? But she pushed those thoughts away. She placed her fingers on the keys, feeling the cool ivory. It was familiar, like an old friend. She started with simple notes, a warm-up scale. Then she moved into a real song, one she had loved as a kid. It was a classical piece by Chopin, full of emotion and speed. As the music filled the lounge, conversation stopped. People turned to look. The notes flowed from her fingers, strong and clear. She forgot about the tables, the orders, the pain in her feet. It was just her and the piano. Memories came back. Practicing in the small room at home, her mom clapping after each song. The piece built up, getting faster, her hands dancing over the keys. Marcus's table went quiet. His smirk was gone, replaced by wide eyes. His friends put down their phones and listened. When she finished the last note, the room was silent for a second. Then applause started. It grew louder from all sides. People clapped and smiled. Even Mr. Thompson nodded from the bar. Elena stood up, her cheeks flushed. She felt a rush of pride, something she had not felt in a long time. Marcus stared at her like he was seeing a new person. That was... Wow, he muttered. One of his friends said, "She's a pro." Elena walked back to the kitchen, her head high. The humiliation was gone, replaced by strength. She had shown them and herself that she was more than just a waitress. But the night was not over yet. What would happen next? Sarah pulled her into a hug in the kitchen. That was amazing. I had no idea you could play like that. Mike gave her a thumbs up. You shut them up good. Elena smiled for real this time. It felt good to share her secret. As she went back out, patrons stopped her to say nice things. Beautiful music, one woman said. You should play more often. It made her think about her dreams again. Maybe it was time to bring them out of the drawer. Marcus called her over after a while. His face was serious now, no more jokes. I owe you an apology, he said. I was being a jerk. That playing, it was incredible. How did you learn? Elena told him a little about music school and her mom. He listened, nodding. My company helps artists sometimes. Here's my card. Call if you want help. She took it, surprised. Could this mean a chance for something better? The rest of the shift flew by. When the group left, they tipped big, more than usual. Marcus gave her an extra nod as he walked out. That night, as Elena walked home under the streetlights, she felt lighter. The city noise, cars honking, people talking, did not bother her. She thought about the card in her pocket. Maybe tomorrow she would email him. For now she was proud of standing up. Life could change in small moments, she realized. And hers just had. Days turned into a week with no word from Marcus. Elena went back to her shifts at the Riverside Lounge, serving tables like before, but things felt different now. Customers who had been there that night smiled at her more. One woman even asked if she would play again sometime. Mr. Thompson, the manager, pulled her aside one afternoon. That was quite a show the other night, he said with a grin. Maybe we could have you play during slow hours? It might bring in more people. Elena was surprised. Really? I don't want to cause trouble. He shook his head. No trouble. You have talent. Let's try it. So on a quiet Tuesday evening, she sat at the piano after the rush. Her fingers touched the keys and she played soft tunes, some classical, some her own. People listened, clapped, and left bigger tips. Sarah hugged her after. See? You're a star here now. It made Elena feel good, like a piece of her old self was coming back. Still, the bills piled up. Her mom's next doctor visit was coming and the cost worried her. She checked her email every day on her phone during breaks. Nothing. Maybe Marcus had forgotten. But then on a rainy Friday morning, her phone buzzed while she was making breakfast. It was an email from his assistant. Mr. Hale would like to meet you. Are you free next week? Elena's heart skipped. She replied yes, and they set a time at his office downtown. She told her mom, who beamed with pride. Go get it, Ellie. Show them what you're made of. Elena borrowed a nice dress from Sarah, simple but clean, and took the bus to the tall building with glass windows. The lobby was fancy, with marble floors and people in suits rushing around. She felt out of place, like a waitress in a palace. Marcus's office was on the top floor, with big windows showing the city below. He stood up when she entered, shaking her hand. "Elena, good to see you. That recording, it's impressive. Sit down." They talked for an hour. She shared her story. Growing up poor, discovering piano at school, winning scholarships, then leaving it all for her mom. He listened, nodding. "I started my company from nothing too," he said. "Lost friends, worked nights. I get it." He explained his foundation helped young artists with grants for school, instruments, and even medical help for families. "We have a program for musicians. Audition, and if you get in, we cover costs." Elena's eyes widened. That would change everything. He smiled, not mean like before, but real. "You taught me something that night. I was acting like a fool. Underestimated you. Won't happen again." The audition was set for 2 weeks later at a music hall his company sponsored. Elena practiced every day. After work, she'd go home and play on an old keyboard a neighbor lent her. It was small and the keys stuck sometimes, but it worked. She chose pieces that showed her skill. A fast Chopin etude, a slow Beethoven sonata, and her own composition about hope and struggle. Her mom listened from bed, giving tips. "Slower here, feel the emotion." On audition day, Elena wore her best clothes and took a deep breath outside the hall. Inside, 3 judges sat at a table, music experts with notebooks. "Whenever you're ready," one said. She sat at the grand piano, bigger than the lounge one. Her hands shook at first, but then the music took over. Notes filled the room, strong and clear. She poured in her feelings, the pain of loss, the joy of playing, the fight to keep going. When she finished, the judges clapped. "Very talented," the head one said. "We'll let you know soon." Waiting was hard. Elena kept working, playing at the lounge now and then. Tips got better and she saved a little extra for bills. Then the letter came in the mail, a thick envelope with the foundation seal. She opened it with her mom watching. "Accepted," it said. "Full scholarship for music school, plus help for medical costs." Elena cried happy tears. "Mom, we did it!" Her mom hugged her tight. "You did it, sweetie." Life changed fast after that. Elena went back to school part-time, studying during days off. She quit some shifts but kept a few at the lounge for extra money. Her playing improved with teachers guiding her again. She even performed at small events, getting paid for what she loved. Marcus came to her first big recital months later. It was in a nice theater, with lights and seats full of people. Elena wore a black dress, her hair up. She played her heart out, the crowd standing to clap at the end. Backstage, Marcus shook her hand. "Proud of you." "That night at the lounge? Best mistake I made," she laughed. "Thanks for the push, even if it was mean." He nodded. "Learned my lesson. Everyone has a story." Elena's mom was there too, healthier now with better treatment. She beamed from the front row. As time went on, Elena's name spread in music circles. She recorded songs, taught kids piano on weekends, and balanced it all with caring for her mom. The struggles were not gone. Life still had bills and hard days, but she felt strong. That one night had sparked it all. She often thought back to Marcus's laughter, how it hurt but led to this. It showed her that hidden talents could shine if given a chance, and that people could change, even billionaires. In the end, Elena's story reminds us that everyone has hidden strengths waiting to come out, even in tough times. Sometimes a mean moment can turn into a good one if you stand up. Have you ever been laughed at but proved them wrong? Or found a talent you forgot about? Share in the comments, I want to hear. If you like this, hit like, comment your thoughts, share with friends, and subscribe for more stories like this. Where are you listening from? Tell me to feel connected.